Sometimes it seems we spend so much time planning for our retirements that we start to feel as if we might live forever. Yet so often we forget to plan for eternal life. And that's what Jesus is warning us against in today's gospel. He says, "Stay awake. You do not know on which day your Lord will come." He tells us of two servants. One remains faithful, feeding his master's household. The other grows lazy, cruel, and distracted, thinking the master is delayed. But when the master finally returns, he cuts that servant off, and there's weeping and grinding of teeth. It's a sobering image, but it's not only about the end of the world. St. Augustine, who we celebrate today, teaches us that the last day comes for each of us on the day of our death. The day we meet Christ face to face, that is the day of our judgment, and none of us knows when that day will be. In today's first reading, St. Paul writes with the same urgency. He tells the Thessalonians that he rejoices at their perseverance in faith, but he also says, "I long to see you, to remedy what is lacking in your faith." He prays that the Lord will make them abound in love for one another and for all, so that their hearts may be strengthened, blameless in holiness when Christ comes. Faith, love, holiness, and readiness. That's exactly what St. Augustine wrestled with in his early years. He spent so much of his time unprepared. He was brilliant, but his heart was restless. He searched for truth in the false philosophies of the time. He lived with a woman outside of marriage, and he delighted in his own pride of how much he knew how brilliant he was. And yet his mother, Monica, whom we celebrated yesterday, we see the results of her prayer today in the feast of St. Augustine. She never stopped praying for her son. Her tears softened the hardened soil of her son's heart. And finally, by God's grace, St. Augustine was conquered. He confessed, "Our hearts are restless until they rest in you, O Lord." His restlessness was not wasted. It became his way of remaining awake. Augustine never forgot how easily the heart can drift back to sleep, to sin, to distraction, and to complacency. He knew what it meant to live as the wicked servant who abuses his freedom, and he knew the sheer mercy of being remade into the faithful servant who feeds the household of God. He became a bishop eventually, and while a bishop, he felt the weight of this particular gospel. He was the servant set over the household to give food, the bread of life, in due season. He trembled at that responsibility, but he trusted more in God's providence. It is grace, not human strength, that equips us to serve. Give what you command, Lord, and command what you will. So what does this mean for us on his feast day? Well, it means remaining awake looks like living in love and not in a constant state of anxiety. It means treating each and every day as a gift, counting it wisely, just as the psalm today says. Teach us to number our days that we may gain wisdom of heart. It means not putting off holiness for tomorrow, but living today as if Christ could come to judge us this very night, because for any of us, he just might. Do we live each day with that readiness? Do we feed others with love, or do we neglect them? Do we hunger for God, or have we grown dull, distracted, cynical, and sleepy? St. Augustine's life gives us hope. He proves that wasted years can still be redeemed. He proves that restless hearts can become holy hearts. And he shows us what St. Paul taught us, that the Lord himself strengthens us, makes us abound in love, and prepares us for the day we meet him. St. Augustine, restless until he found God, now rest in God forever. May we, like him, remain awake, faithful servants, found ready when the Master comes home.